Okay, just a little review. I just went over some of the history, some of the stuff that happened in New Egypt when I first got there, some of the family stuff, the music, the fight. Okay, so those are like, and January 20th, guess who is inaugurated as president? Nixon. Now, anybody who's a history buff now can look back and go, wow, but that was all happening live, and in living color. That was, they say on TV, in living color. I mean, what other kind of color is there? I just, you know what I mean? Those were like the advertisements because a lot of people used to have black and white TVs and everybody started being able to afford color TVs. Wow, you people probably can't even relate to that. Okay, so history. I went and looked some up, but I do remember a lot of it. So just before he took office, they voted to double. Listen to me now. They voted to double his salary. Okay, all presidential salaries from that day, right, early, just before he went to office. He was already elected, but he wasn't in office. They voted to double his salary. Nobody noticed it. Because they're all like, their minds are on, the space war with Russia. Russia was doing tons of stuff. Russia sent some kind of outer space investigative thing to Venus. Come on now, come on. And we're fighting to get to the moon. There's this real serious Cold War about the space race. And it was prominent everywhere. And I talked about that even in grammar school. They were starting that nonsense. Okay, the Enterprise disaster, something blew up on one of the planes and the whole ship, the beautiful Enterprise aircraft carrier, one of the most magnificent things we've ever built, I think. I'm just proud of the United States. Maybe I shouldn't be, but like in political terms, people have like, whoa, but I was like, that feeling you get that, wow, and it had all those crises and all the pictures were in the paper and everybody talked about it. Now, on the other hand, with technology, that was the first the Concorde, the famous Concorde, which is now retired. Hello, I'm really old. Anyway, started its first flight. Okay, so let's see here, check it out. The first computer online discussion appeared. A guy named Douglas Engelhart, don't quote me on the exact spelling on that, appeared in San Francisco, one of their shows down there, and it showed the mouse, it showed online, it was called NL back then for on and line, I don't know what that was about, and it also showed that there someday would be video editing. Yeah, okay, hello, this is like a long time ago. A lot of people think it started in the late 90s and stuff, and no, it was already going on. Okay, and let's see. There was a nuclear test in the Pacific Ocean. Everybody's freaked out about nuclear stuff now, and they were testing it back then. Okay, just look at capabilities, growth, education, technical, All right, enough of that. What else was going on? We landed on the moon. Frank Borman on Christmas Eve read part of Genesis, which I think is pretty cool. That wouldn't happen today, I'll tell you. But anyway, yeah, that was that history. What else was going on? Okay, cool stuff, right? Cool stuff. Sports, the New York Jets, which I love New York teams. I wasn't a Jets fan, but everybody was a Jets fan that year. They won the Super Bowl, and their key player, the man, Joe Namath, okay, who later appeared on a billboard in stockings, which was probably telling the future. It was pretty cool. It was Times Square, this great big billboard of Joe Namath in a pair of stockings. Guys, look it up. It is really cool. It was stunning and cool, but he was the sexiest dude. And here he is, like, laying down his masculinity to prove he could do it. I don't know what was in his head, but that was happening then. The world was going nuts. It's still going nuts. One of my favorite actors released a really cool family movie called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That was Dick Van Dyke. Love that movie. Loved it. I think we saw it in the drive-in. I'm not real sure. I think we did go see it in the drive-in. Let's see what else was happening that year. I got all kinds of notes here. Oh, Russia invaded Czechoslovakia. Dude, Does anybody even know where that country was? Like, seriously, like, all this stuff is like hereditary. And one of the other things a lot of people forget about, that in Ireland, the Catholics were fighting the Protestants, and it was on. It really started centuries ago. You know, they've always had this rivalry, and, you know, prima notte and all this stuff. You watch Braveheart to get pieces of that, but only pieces, and a lot of it's mush mush. Like the kissing, whatever. That wasn't in the book. Anyhow, why did I get off on Braveheart? Anyhow, I love it. From 1968-69 era, for 30 years, Catholics were fighting Protestants in Ireland. And they were killing each other. They were, yeah. So that was going on too. Like now, and plus we're talking about 1968 is when my two favorite people, Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy, gone. So if you could just try to grasp that in your mind, that my parents and I didn't talk to my other grandmother about politics. She was just see her at Christmas kind of grandma. But my gram was in politics, like in her mind. Everything was about that. And she was upset about what was going on in the world. Meantime, you got, you know, the hippies stuff going on, and you got the revolution going on with Aretha's crowd. It's bedlam. And so people are trying to get their bearings, the grandparents, the parents, and me, the kid. There's people like me that were like, what the heck? And we started like trying to figure it out and hang out with friends. Should we, you know, stay with the people who don't want to change, the greaser crowd? Or should we go become a hippie? I don't even know what they're about. What's this about? Whatever. It was a crazy, crazy time. And so that's why I wanted to give you a backdrop on some of the history. And so if your grandmother's a little nuts right now, I'm sorry. Take a look at the history, look what she came from. And if you guys don't agree on what hat to wear, try to look at where we came from and what we came through and what we were fighting. So to the kids and to the grandkids who are now coming up and doing wonderful, marvelous things, and you have every right to rebel and try to change things because we tried to change things. But have a little compassion on the history. Just take a look at all of it. And I could give you that advice, but I didn't take that advice back then. I was against, there was a generation gap, and I was against that generation. You guys did this and that, and you guys did that, and you let Hitler run, and I had judgment on previous, so I get the fact that you have judgment on the baby boomer generation. I get it. But like the Beatles said, let it be. So that's it. And that's all. I think I might do one more. I might not, but I'm not. I might say goodnight and God bless. Red Skelton. Oh. Met somebody that had some artwork of his this past weekend. So that was kind of cool. It was like a kismet thing. All right, guys. This one went long. Sorry. I love ya. I love ya.